Hi, my friend, it's Sandra Champlain here. I always get nervous when I do videos, but I press through nonetheless. I'm coming to you today because a few days ago I posted that I've lost 11 and a half pounds doing something called the Bright Line Eating Plan. And so many people have asked me what it is. And of course, I always come across as a skeptic. You know, when things seem too good to be true, they usually are. But I want to just tell you what my experience is, because I think, in fact, I know in my heart I found something to not only help me lose weight, but to keep it off. So let me just back up a little bit about my story. You may know me for a long time now, or you may not, but if you're some of my high school friends watching, you'll know I've battled my weight for a long, long time. I'm going to be 52 in 2 months from today. And ever since I was a kid, I mean, I have memories being a real small child sneaking food when everybody was sleeping in my house. So I've had this up and down all my life with weight, never liking myself. Everybody says, oh, you should love yourself no matter what. But when we're in our own skin, you know, sometimes that's hard to do. If you've been watching any of my videos or my radio show posts or anything, you see I never put a full-length picture. And it's because I'm the heaviest now that I've ever been in my life. I've had a series of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down all my life, and always to gain back 30, 40, 50 pounds more than I started. You'll see me moving my hand around because I have a screen behind me that I don't want to forget to tell you things, and I'm afraid my screen will go dark if I don't touch it. And anyway, so here's pretty much how the story went. A couple months ago, I went to the doctor, and I haven't been to a doctor in a long time, and diagnosed obviously with obesity and high blood pressure. And she put me on a small dose of a blood pressure pill. And I got the real gentle, loving warning, you know, about losing weight. And my doctor was very kind. I told her about my battle all my life, and she told me about surgeries that can be done and pills that you can take. And I thought that just having the care of a new physician, that would help me get my eating under control and exercise, but it didn't. So I found myself just after Christmas demolishing a whole bunch of leftover Christmas chocolate, and I hit, I don't want to say rock bottom, but yeah, I was pretty close. That I was actually searching online for some of these diet pills, and I didn't want to have surgery, nor do I, but you know, I thought maybe the pills are the answer. Like, I seem to be living in a head that's got this uncontrollable hunger. Even though I'm not physically hungry, it's always telling me to eat. And I've never met anybody else that has described that, although I look at a lot of people in the world, and I think perhaps some other people have that. So I found myself on the website looking at all the different choices and diet pills that you can take, these prescription pills. And between you and me, the side effects were disgusting, like absolutely disgusting. And I thought, there's no way I'm going there. And so I'm not very religious, although you might think I would be by having an afterlife radio show. I do believe in a higher power, God. So I literally, you know, there I was at my wit's end, and I prayed. I did, and I just prayed for something, because I just couldn't continue living how I was. And here I'm helping so many people around the world with grief, believe in the afterlife, help people live in a powerful life. But I felt really inauthentic by not being able to get a hold of my own eating, because it's obvious, you know, I can talk a good game about being successful, but then you look at me and I'm 100 pounds overweight, and you know, you think she's not everything she's cracked up to be. So I did a course many years ago called the Landmark Forum, which is phenomenal, about just living a powerful life, and it's just awesome. That's another video, but I'm still on an email list from some of the people that belong to it. So lo and behold, I just happened to open a random email from a list that I never open. I get hundreds of emails a day, and on this particular day, I actually opened it, and somebody was looking for a director of, I think, research for something called Bright Line Eating. And so I thought, oh, I've never heard of that before. I wonder what that is. And so I Googled Bright Line Eating, and up popped this video from this woman who is a brain scientist, a doctor, Dr. Susan Pierce Thomas. I have her name written down so I didn't forget. And she is brain and cognitive science professor, psychologist, neuropsychology of food addiction. And on her website, there's Bright Line Quiz. There was this 10-question quiz about food addiction. And so I took it, and up popped that I am a perfect 10. Now, not perfect 10 like Bo Derek from the movie, but perfect 10 like I have the highest on the scale of food addiction is really what it is. And she described, because she too is a perfect 10, and for the very first time I heard somebody describe exactly how my brain feels when I am living my life, when I'm trying to just live. I mean, it's constantly waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror and not liking myself and thinking, what diet today? And then 3 days later I fail, and God forbid you tell me I can't have the donut, right? Or I tell myself I can't have the donut. Well, I eat the whole box, and that's just the nature of Sandra. So up pops this video by Dr. Susan Pierce Thomas, and everything she said really made sense to me. And the bottom line core of all of it is addiction to flour, sugar, processed foods, and not for everybody. I mean, I think you and I all know that person, and I usually hate them, who can just eat one Hershey's Kiss and be satisfied, right? So that might be somebody as a 1 on the food scale, but I am a 10. And so I ended up buying her book, which I want to show you. See, it's called Bright Line Eating. I downloaded her audiobook so I could listen to it. And on the website, which I've included in this, not only is there a quiz, but she invites people to take part in this 14-day challenge. It's $29, not going to break the bank, but I am somebody who's used to things being too good to be true. So I could afford the $29, and I went for it. So doing her program along, which is a 14-day challenge, she calls it, along with listening to her audiobook, excuse me, is what I've been doing. So here's some things I want to tell you. Okay, so first of all, a little bit about why I'm being successful. So I'm committed to only weighing in about once a month, because I will go insane if I weigh myself more than that. But as far as sugar and flour addictions go, I'm not her, so I'm not going to do this justice, but I'm going to tell you how this relates to me. And to me, with some of us who are the perfect 10s, we have this uncontrollable urge to eat. And she talks about the impact that sugar and flour have in our system. And there's insulin, and there's something called leptin that's in our brain. And I'm going to apologize to the doctor if I'm getting this wrong, but leptin in our brain is something that signals us that we've had enough to eat and it's time to stop eating. And so those of us who are heavier and always have this drive to eat, the more sugar and the more flour we eat causes, I think, higher insulin production, and ultimately our brains do not signal us that we're ever full, that it's time to stop eating. And so by her explaining this, and of course she's the perfect size 4 now, and she used to be an obese woman size 24 or 26. It was really inspiring. And she didn't just do this. I mean, she's kept the weight off 10, 12 years. In fact, the people in the Bright Line Eating Plan, she says not only lose the weight, but they keep it off. Lose weight fast and keep it off. And so many of us who have lost weight and gained it back, lost weight and gained it back, you know, we've heard this, that our body thinks we're starving. And so it always adds on another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds for the next time it's starving. And I tell you, I am committed to not gain weight back. I'm going to end up being 400 pounds if I lose weight traditionally and gain it back again. And I can't do it. I really can't do it. So on her plan, it's called Bright Line because there's 4 bright lines, and this is what we do. One of the bright lines is no flour, and she's got all the facts and figures of why. There's no sugar, which includes no alcohol. There is planning our food the day before, and I'll tell you why in just a second. And there's also weighing and measuring food, and we just eat 3 meals a day. So although this all sounds kind of restrictive, there's some kind of a willpower trap. And in her videos, she talks about these people that were, it was a test about, is willpower real? And they had three different groups of people. One group of people were sitting down in front of a large plate of chocolate chip cookies, and they could eat all of them, and then they had to go on to do some like mathematical equations. The second group of people didn't have anything in front of them, and they just had to simply go do the mathematical equations. And the third group had chocolate chip cookies and radishes. Now, here's the thing. They were told they could eat all the radishes they wanted, but they couldn't eat chocolate chip cookies. So what happened was it drained their willpower, and that was the only group that couldn't effectively work on these mathematical equations. They gave up in half the time that everybody else did. And I thought that was so interesting, because willpower is used, I mean, even right now, making a decision, should I watch this video or not? Should I open this email? How do I answer this email? It's been proven that our willpower is being drained all the time. So it is drained in the morning. What am I going to eat? What aren't I going to eat? Add to it the addiction of flour and sugar messing with the brain filled, with this, I don't really know how leptin works. All I know is mine's not working right. And I'm always getting the signal for food. It's like, no wonder I've been not successful in the past. So for the very first time, somebody's putting to words something that I have lived with. And gosh, it is such a relief that I decided, yes, I'm going to pay the $29 and go for it. And of course, you don't have to. I listened to the audiobook too, and that's filled with information. But I love daily support. I really do when I do something. So here's how it's been going for me is every day, I'll plan the day before, and I have for breakfast. There's a ton of things you can eat, but it's all real healthy food. It's not processed food. So I eat real, like, scrambled eggs for breakfast, and I'll have some oatmeal and some berries. For lunch, I've got protein, whether it's chicken or meat or something, and vegetables and fruits. And there's huge portions, so I'm definitely not hungry. And there's healthy fats too. And for dinner, protein and a big, huge salad and vegetable. And after the first 3 days, like my first 3 days, I'm thinking, I can't do this. There's no way, because my brain is still screaming, I've got to have more. I've got to have more. I've got to have more. And then something happened on that third day. It's like the brain just went quiet. It's like, I'm getting that I have these dopamine receptors that are looking for my next fix of sugar, because I've been living this way 40-something years, right? So it's not going to just turn off overnight. But the last 3 weeks, not only have I lost 11.5 pounds, probably more than that now, but I've got this peace of mind. I mean, real peace of mind that during the day, when I'm not thinking about food, I'm thinking about actually life and getting things done. And I'm proud of myself. It's really big. And as far as the whole sugar thing goes, because can I imagine not ever eating a piece of chocolate again? No. And I'm not telling myself I can't. And I'm somebody who likes wine and Miss America. Bianca saying, hello, Miss America. Hi. And everybody else who's watching. I am somebody who likes a margarita or a glass of wine. And I can't tell myself I'm never going to have that. But what I am telling myself is just for today. I'm not. And that really is working. And something interesting about sugar is they did a study on rats, these poor rats, that they work on, but they got actually some rats addicted to cocaine, and they introduced sugar to them. And guess what happened? They'd rather have the sugar than have the cocaine. So then they took away the sugar, and what did they give them? They gave them sugar substitute. So anything that is sweet, and that even comes down to the Truvia and stevia and all that kind of stuff, they would rather have that than cocaine. So here's my brain as a 52-year-old woman who's been making myself wrong. And now, the freedom is that there's an explanation for this in brain chemistry, and it's not my fault. But, I do have a responsibility now. Do I want to continue living this way or not? Something else, she talks about, if you go to YouTube and you just type in Bright Line Eating, there's a ton of free information from Dr. Susan Pierce Thomas that you can look at. And I just think, give it away, share, because I tell you, I'm not the only one who's had a weight problem. I know that. There's a lot of science too that people who are depressed, once they start eating healthy fruits and vegetables, that the the depression lightens up and goes away. Personally, remember I told you my doctor gave me the blood pressure pill? I forgot to take it a couple of days ago because I've been traveling and now I'm back home and just, wasn't digging in my makeup bag, didn't have any makeup on. And I decided to check my blood pressure in the past few days and I haven't taken the pill. And I was up to, gosh, it was like before, when I saw the doctor, it was something like 150 over 90, 95. So she gave me the pill and it brought it down to like 125 over 85 kind of average, because I've got one of these great home blood pressure kits. And then the past 3 days, it has been 95 over 65 or 70. So, and that is without the pill. So I can't help but think fruits and vegetables make a huge difference, and eating healthily also. So I love hearing that people who put in a lot of fruits and vegetables in their life, it really reduces depression. So that's great. Another thing that I think was interesting is that, I've had this brain that is screaming for food, and I did think it was willpower, but she did this great exercise, and she said, everybody try to hold your breath for 2 minutes. And of course, nobody can hold their breath for 2 minutes, or very few people can. But I did it. And then what happened is this little voice in my head said, you've got to breathe now. You've got to breathe now. And that voice is exactly the same voice that says, you've got to eat now. And it is the voice of me. So she's trying to say, it's not me just dreaming about food that has me eat. It's actually a signal from the brain. So I totally buy into this leptin resistance, all caused from flour and sugar. So bottom line is the brain can help. Let me start again. The brain can heal itself. And even after 2 weeks, she says, you get a whole new set of taste buds by eating this way. And I never thought I would say this, but I had some strawberries and blueberries on my oatmeal. And not that I was ever a fan of oatmeal, but I'm like, oh my God, these are the best damn strawberries I've ever had in my life. So the sweetness I'm getting from fruits is satisfying that just having something sweet. So I look at people, and it's not just me. There's like 3/4 of, I don't even know, I won't even give you the statistics of how many overweight and obese people there are, but it just keeps growing. And I know there's a lot of childhood obesity. And I watched this great movie. It's called That Sugar Movie. You might want to check it out, but it's the impact of how you feel and what happens in your body with sugar. So I've got a lot of friends saying hello. So I'm saying hello to everybody. I see Brian right now saying hello. But I, for the very first time, feel like I was given a miracle, and I'm not saying that lightly. My dad always said that synchronicities or coincidences were God's way of remaining anonymous. So it's not like this book, Bright Line Eating, fell out of the clouds and into my arms. Like, that would be a full-blown miracle. But just by me opening an email that I would have never opened, seeing something I've never seen before, doing the research and Googling this Bright Line Eating, and now having this result. So I feel good. I think my body's resetting itself. I've listened to the whole book, the audio book, so it's not one of these plans where once you lose the weight, you're on your own. She slowly teaches you how to reintroduce what foods to get back to get to your maintenance plan. And what else do I want to not forget to tell you? There's been times that I still want to eat, and I think that's just habit. And I've had now this habit of binge eating and overeating and thinking about food for most of my lifetime. And so as far as a brain goes, and I guess a pretty deep habit to break. And she says that to break a habit, it could be 60 to 90 days. It's none of this 28 days that we read about. But the habit will always be in me. And, miracles are certainly possible, but it makes sense. If you think of somebody who's giving up smoking or giving up alcohol, they can't just say, well, let me just have one. Because what'll happen is that'll just reopen their brain circuitry and they'll get full blown into it. And food is different because, we got to eat to live, but we don't need to eat donuts to live. We don't. And again, can I tell myself it's forever? I can't. Because again, you tell me I can't do something and it's like, yes, I can. And so with me, I feel if I just do it one day at a time. I've been drinking a lot of water with lemon juice or squeeze a lime, and that satisfies me. But I'll wrap this up. I don't really need to say too much more. If you or somebody you know has got issues with food, number one, it's not their fault. And I think when we get information, it becomes our responsibility, but it's not their fault. And I have done every diet imaginable, hypnosis, loving myself, all kinds of different gurus, and nothing has worked. And when I hear something I've never heard before, and it's stuff I didn't know, and it all comes down to brain science, which makes so much sense. So I invite you, and you certainly don't need to buy anything, but if this is of interest to you, let me just show you the book again. It's called Bright Line Eating. I ordered the audiobook. She does upsell you. So if you go to brightlineeatingplan.com or brightlinequiz.com, you can take that susceptibility quiz to see how susceptible you are. There are things like, do you want to join my boot camp? Do you want to be part of my 14-day challenge? And I have gotten, I don't want to say screwed so many times, but I have purchased a ton of stuff that has not worked. So I'm always leery about buying into something. So the book, it doesn't cost much, or you can get it in the library. But like I said, I did the 14-day challenge for the $29, and she sent me a daily email with a video that kept me so encouraged. So that is money worth spending, I feel, if you can. And then I got the email upselling me on the 8-week boot camp. And I looked into it. 8-week boot camp is $500, and that may sound like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but it's a lifetime program that you get with constant support. You're part of a group. There is something, I've joined Weight Watchers plenty of times to know that it really makes a difference to be part of a group. And so I joined it. I paid the money. I joined it, and I'm in it, and I will have it for life, and I love that. And also, she gives you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So the woman has integrity. So I think if you're like me and you don't like to, we love to buy, but we don't like to be sold. Oh my gosh, we've had so many times people have, I'm sure you and I both have bought things that we really didn't need and didn't work and things like that. And in the world of diets and weight loss and all that stuff, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. But once, I encourage you, even if you're a YouTuber, go to YouTube and just type in Bright Line Eating and start watching some of the videos. When this stuff starts making sense to you, as it did to me, boy, God, it's like the weight of the world is off my shoulders, that it's no longer my fault. And I tell you how many people I wanted to punch that would give me weight loss advice and tell me all I need to do is eat less and exercise. I wanted to wring their throats, and I'm pretty gentle person, but I'm thinking if it was that easy, I would have had that handled. I'm successful in so many other areas, and to not be successful in this, in my heart of hearts, I knew there had to be an answer, and I just haven't found it yet. So why I'm sharing this is because it is so monumental that I can't not share it. And so if you want to watch free videos, join the program, that's all up to you, but it works. So and I don't really want to make flour and sugar the enemy, but because you can't. But when you start looking at what's happening in the world, and you start looking at what the common denominators are, and the obesity problem, it's like, ooh, that really could be. So I myself am taking my life under control right now. Am I going to be perfect? Probably not. But so what? Tomorrow's always another day. But I'm really going to try to make it at least the 60 to 90 days of the no flour, no sugar, no booze, and to try to change this eating habit and change the habits in my brain. So I'll keep you posted. Like I said, I'm only committed to doing once a month weigh-ins because I do not want to go frantic on the scale, because I know myself, if the scale says I'm up half a pound, I'm going to have a bad day. Scale says I'm down a half a pound, I'm going to have a great day. And that's just wrong, and I don't want to go there. So I'll keep you posted, but in my heart of hearts, I just needed to tell you what I'm up to, and you can make your own decision if it's something you want to research, but it's really good stuff, really good stuff. Bright Line Eating Plan or Bright Line Quiz. And don't be afraid if a video pops up and she asks you for money to join. She's a businesswoman too, but she's got so much integrity and so much information. And again, maybe just get the audio book or look at the free videos. But if you're somebody like me, I think you're going to have a huge amount of relief and peace of mind knowing that your weight or your eating habits is not your fault, and so much is in the brain. All right, that's all I've got for you now. Thank you for spending so much time with me today, and I hope you have a great day, okay? Bye-bye.